In the 1930s, much of Indiana's state parks were built by young men who enrolled in a federal program called the Civilian Conservation Corps. They would live and work together, and the money they made would be sent home to their families.
But CCC camps ended as World War II began, and much of their history was lost to time. But a Bluffton man pored over hundreds of documents, even the former site itself, to recreate what was once the heart of Wabash State Park, CCC Camp 1592. Krista takes us into 21 Country.
Often teenagers that could not